before somebody bitches and complains, which somebody will. So might as well go ahead and get started. I wanted to ask, let's see, I guess she's not here. I don't see her name. All right, I'll take the roll later after they kick me out. So I didn't see any questions. Let me look again. I can't even remember what we're going over. We're going over derivatives, I think. Have I assigned any homework yet?
I think the last one was 1.1 through 1.4.
Okay, but I don't think I've done 1. I haven't finished 1.5. So I'm going to continue on and just start talking about 1.5 and what we're really doing. And so let's take a couple of examples. F of x. You all right? F of x is equal to. Oh my gosh, somebody's already complained about me. F of x is equal to negative 4x squared, and that is a regular parabola that's flipped upside down. That's very narrow because of the 4. And we know it's a parabola. We could go ahead and do. Let's go ahead and do the difference quotient. And f of x plus h is in green minus orange f of x all over h. And that's probably our last one that we do like this, because I'm going to make the transition. I'm kind of going over, I'm overlapping what we did Tuesday and going over new stuff. So chances are this is going to be the last one that we do the algebraic way. Okay, because I'm making that overlap and reviewing over what we did Tuesday. So I'm going to rewrite our function with a big set of parentheses. And then minus and negative 4x squared all over h. And you can go ahead and put limit as h approaches 0. And that x plus h is going to go in the middle right here. And now we're going to do the algebra. Limit as h approaches 0 of negative 4 times x squared plus 2xh plus h squared plus 4x squared all over h.
Priority 1 message coming in on secured channel.
And that's going to give us limit as h approaches 0 of negative 4x squared minus 8xh minus 4h squared plus 4x squared over h. And the 4x squareds cancel. That h cancels with that h, and that h goes down to 1 with that h. So that leaves us with negative 8x, the 0, let's use another color, The 0 will take that h right there out. So we're left with negative 8x to the first, and that's our answer. Now we can use the power rule. The power rule says f prime of x, and that's another way to write the derivative, is equal to a to the n, and you take that n, multiply it by a, and then you do n minus 1. So that's going to be 2 times negative 4 x to the 2 minus 1, which is negative 8x. So this is calculus. And this right here is algebra plus limit theory. And you see, you get the same what? You get the same answer. So what is it? What did we do? Well, f of x is negative. F of x is equal to negative 4x squared. So that means we got a parabola that basically looks like this. It's skinnier than a regular parabola because of the 4, and it's opening downward because of the what? Because of the negative. So let's pick a point. Negative 1, negative 2, positive 1, positive 2. I'm going to pick a point at negative 2. And we're going to color it magenta. And we're going to draw a tangent line. And f prime of negative 2 is equal to negative 8 times negative 2 is positive what? So the slope at negative 2 is equal to 16 over 1. So then we go to the other side and we do positive 2. And we draw a tangent line right there. So the slope at positive 2 is going to equal negative 8 times 2. So the slope at negative 2 is equal to negative 16 over 1. Now I'm going to show you something that's very important for you to write down and put in your notes. What is the tangent line at the vertex? Well, somebody can just eyeball it and tell me. What is the slope of the tangent line at the vertex, at any vertex? Well, plug it in. X is 0. Negative 8 times 0 is what? Which means a horizontal line. This you need to write down, because there are questions in your homework and your test that will go toward what is the slope at the vertex. And what is the slope at the vertex? 0, Hubert. That's right, class. It will always be 0. So that's all you got to do. Now, what's the problem? Well, students get these type problems. Here's a test question. F of x is equal to negative 3x squared. F of x is equal to 4x to the negative 3. And then f of x is equal to the square root of x to the third power. And that's where this first one nobody has a problem with. Oh, that's easy. Take that 2, multiply it by that 3. That's going to be 2 times negative 3x to the 2 minus 1. And f prime of x. And f prime of x is equal to negative 6x to the first. And that's your answer. And I put these on the test all day, and y'all get them right. What happens when I put these on the test? Y'all sit there and stare at them. I'm not speaking for everybody because I know there's a couple of guys in the classroom that invented calculus. So I know there'll always be a couple of guys that invented calculus. Just like girls, have you ever been in a group talking about traveling like to Florida or to Texas, or you ever been in a group talking about travel time? And somebody says, well, I'd love to go to Panama City. How long does it take you? About 8 hours. There's always a guy in the group that will go, I can get there in 3.5 hours. Run away from that guy. Run away from him, because that's domestic violence in the future. Run away from him because he's an idiot. Okay? That's another indicator. I'm going to write a book one day. It's called When to Run. I don't have to write it for men because all you got to remember is the Oompa Loompas. The orange face and the white neck, you run. But the girls, they have to have, because guys are stupid in 25, 30 different ways. So you have to watch out for them. I'm going to write a book, make $1 million. So what do you do on these? As I told you in the last class, you what? You rewrite. Just like some of those guys that have those ugly trucks. Some of those guys are going to be cruising the mall when they're 40 years old. You wait and see what I tell you. All right. What do you rewrite? What do you mean rewrite? What do you do? Well, we'll just sit here until somebody says something. I'll just go on the phone and play.
For the second one, do you multiply, like put it over 1 and then multiply times the opposite? No, the second
Well,
one.
let me ask you this. What are you taught to do at all times with a negative exponent? What are you taught to do? Are you told to keep the negative exponent, or you've been told to do something with the negative exponent?
You do something, but I do not.
You had part of it. It's over 1. Now, how do we make that negative exponent positive? Come on, somebody remembers. They're just scared to say anything because they think some of these other people are going to fuss at them for communicating. What are you supposed to do?
Make it a fraction.
Bring this negative exponent what? Y'all don't remember that?
Make it a fraction.
Hubert students should. You bring the x to the negative 3 downstairs, and you get 4 over x to the third. Y'all remember doing that? Okay, now I'm doing it a little backwards because I'm trying to show you something. If you have been given one like this, you rewrite it like that. So 4x to the negative third, bring that out front, and that's negative 3 times 4x to the negative 3 minus 1. And here's where students really make it. They get half the problem right, and they go negative 12x to the negative 2. And that's wrong. It's x to the negative 4. And then you rewrite it like this. Negative 12 over x to the 4th. So remember, when you see this right here, you're going to rewrite it when you finish it like this. You always want a positive exponent. You always want a positive exponent. Now, what if I gave you one like this? What if I gave you one, f of x is equal to 7 over x to the negative 3? Then I would what? What would I do to x to the negative 3? I'm waiting. What do you do to x to the negative third? Is that a negative exponent? Yes, or no?
Yes.
Yes.
How do you make it positive?
Put it under a 1.
Bring it up. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to algebra, okay? 1 over x to the negative n. Or x to the negative n over 1. If I want to make positive exponents, I bring this upstairs or flip it. If I want this, I bring this downstairs or flip it. Now, do y'all remember that? Yes or no? Okay, because I don't know if you understand it because people aren't saying anything. People are being quiet. So I don't know what you know. So let's try it again.
Pretty sure I remember that.
Well, thank you, one person out of 25 people. All right, so f of x is equal to 7x to the negative 3. All right, give me the derivative of that. F prime of x is equal to negative 21x to the negative 3 minus 1. F prime of x is equal to negative 21x to the negative 4, or negative 21 over x to the 4th power. All right, now you do f of x is equal to the square root of x cubed. I'll give you a hint.
It's 3 over 2 x to the 1/2.
Okay, we're going to rewrite this as what we call a rational exponent. Rewrite as a rational, meaning a fraction, exponent. And that's going to give me f of x is equal to x to the what? Exponent over index to the 3/2. Is that what you said? Whoever said that a while ago? Thank you.
I said that the full answer was 3/2x to the 1/2.
Okay, let's check it and see. So that f prime of x, bring the 3/2 out front, x to the 3/2 minus 2/2. And that's going to give you 3/2 x to the 1/2. Good job. So see, now I know there's one person in the group that knows how to rewrite and do calculus. Question, gripe, complaint. That's how you do the basic power rule. Let me go through and do 4 more questions. I'm going to do 4 more just so I can make sure everybody understands it. Because if you don't understand the power rule, you can't understand the quotient and the product rule. So let me get another pen. F of x is equal to -2x to the 5th. F of x is equal to 1/3 x to the -1. F of x is equal to x to the -4 over 3. And f of x is equal to the 3rd root of x to the 4th power. I don't know who that is, but they're going to have to leave a message. All right, give you a minute or two to do those. Mr. Franklin, you put on some shades, you look like the Unabomber.
Ted Kaczynski? Where?
He's got his hoodie on.
Where's Ted at?
Mr. Franklin, he's got a hoodie on. I said he put
Oh.
on just forget it.
Oh, I thought you were saying Ted Kaczynski.
I guarantee you half the class don't even know who the hell I'm talking about. So
I thought you were saying Ted Kaczynski joined us. I was like, oh, where?
no, I think he's dead, isn't he?
No, he's at ADX Florence.
He's still in prison. I thought he killed himself or something.
No.
You know, he's a mathematician.
Yes, he was a professor at what, MIT?
Michigan.
Very, very smart man, but definitely went about it the wrong way.
That's an understatement. Like I said, half the class are sitting there going, who are they talking about? Was that Marvel comic? Was he on Endgame?
Your birthday present might arrive in certain packaging.
Yeah. All right, here we go. F prime of x.
Look him
is
up, people.
equal
Interesting guy.
5 times -2 x to the 5 minus 1. F prime of x is equal to -10 x to the 4th power. Here, -1 times 1/3 is -1/3 x to the -1 minus 1. And f prime of x is equal to -1/3 x to the negative 2. And you could bring that x to the negative 2 down. I would probably leave it like that. But if you wanted to, negative 1 over 3 x squared. This can be rewritten as 1/3 x to the negative 4th, negative 4/3 x to the negative 5th, or negative 4 over 3 x to the 5th. I guarantee you somebody missed that one. Because somebody always looks at this one cross-eyed on a test. And then this one, f prime of x, or f of x, is equal to x to the 4/3. F prime of x is equal to 4/3. X to the 4/3 minus 3/3. And f prime of x is equal to 4/3 x to the 1/3. You could write this as a cube root, but the only thing is you'd have to rationalize, and I don't think the radicals in calculus don't mix, so we'll leave it with a rational exponent.
Roger.
Now, when you're talking about the product rule, you're talking about these. Now, remember, you can do the sum and product of 3 power rules. Sorry, if I said product rule before. Power rule. You can do the sum and difference of the power rule. You could have something like this. F of x is equal to x squared minus 2x plus 6. Now, I'm going to show you a little trick. If this is your first time taking calculus, and this is your first introduction to the power rule, I would put, and this is just, if you didn't invent calculus, I would put a 1 here, and I would put x to the 0 there. And I would put a 1 here. Why? Because you're learning how to, the best snipers are people that don't know how to shoot. All right? The best people, some of the best people that learn calculus are the people that didn't know how to do calculus, and they were shown the right way to do it. All right? I always tell students, if you're a first-time calculus student and you suck at derivatives, always put things that aren't there in their place. Therefore, when you do the power rule, this is what you do. F prime of x is equal to times 1 x to the 2 minus 1 minus 1 times 2 x to the 1 minus 1 plus 0 times 6 x to the 0 minus 1. Now, who am I teaching to right now? I'm teaching to those people that have never had calculus, that have had it in that haven't had it in a long time or never understood it. I'm not talking to the people that invented it back with Sir Isaac Newton. I'm not talking to y'all. F prime of x is equal to 2x to the first power minus 2x to the 0 power. And what happens to any constant? This is a constant right here. What's the derivative of any constant going to be? I think I heard 0. That's correct.
Yeah,
but
0.
The whole thing goes to what?
0.
So the derivative, let's write that down because that's a law. The derivative of any constant, any number or constant, number slash constant, equals 0. That includes this number. What is that? Pi. What is pi?
3.145.
It's a number. What is the derivative of pi? 0. What is the derivative of e to the second? 0. Always remember, these are numbers. You'd be surprised on how many times I put the derivative of pi on a test and I get 5 people out of 30 that miss it because they don't put 0. And that's your answer. So simplify the answer and you get f prime of x is equal to 2x minus 2. And that is the product and sum. In other words, this is the difference, and this is the sum and difference. You can have a mathematical sentence and break them up into each one, as long as you're adding and subtracting. Any questions on that? All right, now the product and the quotient rule. Now I'm not going to show you what the book does. The product rule is the first times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. That is the product rule. The quotient rule is the denominator times the numerator prime minus the numerator times the denominator prime, all over the denominator what? Squared. Now I'm just curious, there's 23 people in here. Let me see a hand on how many people have been shown the product and quotient rule like that. Anybody? I can tell you what they show you in the book, or I'll just bring it up on Google. Product and quotient rule of calc. Let's see, here's the product and quotient rule right there. And of course you can't see it. So copy image. I'm going to go ahead and put it on a word processor because I'll have somebody at the end of the semester put on my evaluation that I didn't go through the proofs. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in the proof right now. There it is. So let me go ahead and blow this up. People don't understand when you're starting an introductory level of math, you don't go with all the proofs. You let the proofs come naturally. There you go. Let me make it big enough. So those of you that want the pinky, hold your pinky up while you talk. There you go. That's the product and the what? The quotient rule. Does that make it simpler? Yes or no?
Indeed, it does.
Yeah, it makes it a whole lot simpler, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and do it. Here's the example of the product rule. F of x is equal to x minus 2 times x squared minus 3. Here's an example of the quotient rule. F of x is equal to x minus 2 over x squared minus 3. So we're going to do each of these so you can see how to do the product rule and the quotient rule. So let's go to the next page so we have plenty of room. You got to give yourself plenty of room for this. So the product rule. First times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. So f of x is equal to x minus 2 times x squared minus 3. And somebody tell me, which way do we read? Left to right? Yes or no?
Left to right.
Left to right. So this is your first. And you think I'm kidding, but I actually have people that will ask me in class, how do you know which one's the first? So I have to say that little, which way do we read? And this is the what? The second. So that's the second. And this is the first. Now, I know some people that will do the calculus first, then they will plug and chug. I know some people that will do the algebra first and then do the calculus. I know some people that'll do it just as they're doing it. Okay, I don't care which way you do it. I'm going to show you the way that I learned to do it, and you can do it however you want to. We're going to do it 2 or 3 different ways. F prime of x is equal to first times the derivative of the second. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to write the derivative. I'm going to write the second, and I'm going to put a little prime. So we're going to do the calculus in just a second. X squared minus 3 prime plus the second, x squared minus 3 times the derivative of the first. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to color my x minus 2. And then I'm going to color my x squared minus 3. And these two right here, I'm going to color pink, because I'm going to take the derivative of these two right here, because I got a little prime there that tells me to take the derivative. So now in the next step, I'm going to actually do the calculus. F prime of x is equal to x minus 2. Now, somebody tell me what the derivative of x squared minus 3 is.
2x.
2x minus 0, which is 2x. Plus x squared minus 3 times 1. 1 minus 0. And now we're ready to do algebra. Here's the first. And I took the derivative of that, so I'm going to color this yellow because that is the derivative of x squared minus 3. See, if you don't learn how to do the power rule, you can forget the quotient rule and the product rule. So f prime of x is equal to 2x times x minus 2 plus 1 times x squared minus 3 f prime of x is equal to 2x squared minus 4x plus x squared minus 3. F prime of x is equal to 3x squared minus 4x minus 3. Now that's how you learn how to do the product rule if you've never done it before, or if you hadn't done it in a long time, or if you suck at it. Those are the three people I'm teaching to. I'm not teaching to the people that wrote the book on calculus. Now, what's another way we could have done it? What's another way we could have done this? Anybody?
The quotient rule.
Well, you could have used the quotient rule, but what about algebra? Could we have done algebra first? That's a simple yes or no. Could we have done algebra first? Can somebody give me a nod or a shake? Yes, we could have done algebra first. Thank you. So let's do algebra first. F of x is equal to x minus 2 times x squared minus 3. Use the FOIL method. Pronounce it however you'd like. I'm not going to pronounce it. FOIL. First, outside. I have to say outside because when I say outer, I always get a student that says, I don't know what you're saying. I know damn well what I'm saying. I just want to be an ass. Negative 3x inside negative 2x squared, and last, x to the third minus 3x, or x to the third minus 2x squared minus 3x plus 6. And that's f of x. Oops, sorry. We don't want f of x. We want f prime of x. So we're going to take the derivative of each term. 3x squared minus 4x minus 3 plus 0. And what's my final answer? It's a miracle. 3x to the third. Wait a minute. I got something wrong here. 3x. That's supposed to be 3x to the third right here. Wait a minute. 2x squared. That's supposed to be 3x squared. I got something wrong somewhere. I might have something wrong here. That's supposed to be 3x squared minus 4x minus 3. Yeah, 3x squared minus 4x minus 3. That's the answer. And this is supposed to be, yeah, 3x squared. Yeah, 3x squared minus 4x minus 3. Any questions? So you can do it either way. Now, a while ago, somebody said you could bring this down and do the quotient rule. Yep. So we're going to do the quotient rule next. Now, the reason I'm moving kind of fast is nobody's saying anything. So I'm sorry, but nobody's saying anything. So I don't know if you understand what the hell I'm talking about or not. F of x is equal to x minus 2 divided by x squared minus 1. Oh, we can't do that because we don't know the quotient rule. I mean, we don't know the chain rule yet. So we can't do it that way yet. Forgot about that. You got to know the chain rule. So let's go over here and do this one. Since we can't do the chain rule with this one yet, I meant the chain rule, we can't do the quotient rule, but we can do the quotient rule with this one. F of x is equal to x minus 2 over x squared minus 3. And I'm going to write out the quotient rule over here, and I want you to see if you can actually do it with what we just did with the power rule. So the quotient rule says f prime of x is equal to denominator times the numerator prime minus the numerator times the denominator prime over the denominator squared. All right, take a couple of minutes and see if you can get it worked out. I'll give you 3 or 4 minutes. Let's see, it's 3:25. I'll give you 4 minutes, 3:29. You know, I was kidding the other day when I said I wasn't going to watch college football because they were all cupcakes. I swear to God, I believe every single game is a cupcake game. I thought I was kidding. So I guess I'm just not going to watch football this weekend.
Priority 1 message coming in on secured channel.
Oh, Lord, somebody's complaining about something. All right. Now watch how I do it, because this is the way I do it for those people that, need the help. Denominator times numerator prime minus the numerator times the denominator prime all over the denominator squared. Does anybody notice something I did different than the product rule? Anybody notice anything different? Nobody noticed anything different. And these are going to be pink because I'm going to take the derivative of them. Where will students, I'm talking to the calculus students now, where will students make an error in this problem? Anybody know? Any of you calculus or former calculus students know where students make an error on this problem? Nobody says anything when they know the answer. Nobody says anything when I ask about errors. Nobody says anything. I guess all of y'all just don't know anything, right? That's what it is. Okay. Anybody? Miss Brody, I can always rely on you. You can either say you have no idea or you can tell me the answer. Did you take calculus before, Miss Brody?
I have not. I haven't taken one in either.
Okay, well then don't worry about it then. I'm asking, I thought you might have had calculus before. I always have a couple of calculus students that have taken this class over for the second time, but I'm not going to ask that. But has anybody had pre-calculus or calculus in high school that can tell me where? All right, I'm going to highlight it in blue. I usually
The
don't.
bottom.
Nope. Here it is in blue. Why did I do brackets right here? And why did I highlight that negative?
To attribute the negative to the rest of what's in the brackets.
Because that negative will be distributed among these terms when you get finished. And if you don't distribute it correctly, will you get the problem wrong? Yes. So that blue negative right there sounds like a drink. Blue negative. That blue negative right there will make a difference.
You have a work email.
So here we go. F prime of x is equal to x squared minus 3 times 1 minus parentheses x minus 2 times 2x all over x squared minus 3 squared. Are you worried about the denominator with this problem? No, you are not. Your focus is where? The numerator. You could care less about the denominator unless something cancels out. So there's my denominator. There's my denominator. There's my numerator. And the yellow is my derivative of the pink. And there is the negative that goes with these brackets. Now I want you, because each one of you, this is nothing but algebra, because 90% of calculus is algebra. I want you to finish this problem and just leave the denominator. Don't mess with the denominator because you're not going to do anything with it. Not right now, at least, I don't think. So go ahead and finish the problem and simplify it to its lowest terms. Give you a minute. So this distributed here will give me f prime of x is equal to x squared minus 3 minus parentheses 2x squared minus 4x all over x squared minus 3 quantity squared. And now that blue negative is going to affect these two terms right here. And you're going to get f prime of x is equal to x squared minus 3 minus 2x squared plus 4x over x squared minus 3 quantity squared. And that's going to give you x squared minus 2x squared is negative x squared plus 4x minus 3 over x squared minus 3 quantity squared. Okay. Now I want to share with you that honestly, there's only one step in here that is actual calculus, and that's the step from here to here. You could say that both of these steps are calculus, but the rest of it is what? What's the rest of the problem?
You have a work email.
Rest of the problem is algebra, Hubert. Yeah, that's right. The people that suck at calculus do not suck at calculus. They suck at what? Oh, come on, I just said it.
Algebra.
They suck at algebra. I know that was painful. I'm sorry.
Can you explain again
Yeah.
the where you got the 1, like from the x minus 2 raised to the
Yeah.
1, and then that one?
Okay, I'll take this x minus 2 and I'll rewrite it. X to the first power minus 2x to the 0 power. All right, now take the derivative of each one of those terms. I'll go to the next page and do it for you. X minus x to the first minus 2x to the 0. You with me?
Yes.
All I did was add the things that are there that you don't see. Now do the power rule. 1 times 1, x to the 1 minus 1, minus 0 times 2, x to the 0 minus 1. And what's 1 times 1? X to the 0 minus 0, x to the negative 1. And what happens to this term right here, Miss Bodine? What's 0 times anything?
0.
And what's x to the 0? Be careful, don't blurt out what you think it is. What is any number to the 0 power? 1. So your answer is 1.
Okay.
So the derivative of this is this. Now what you're going to see later, Miss Bodine, is you're going to see, and the reason I say Bodine is because I played against a guy in Pickens, and he was a running back, and his name was Bodine. That's why I say Bodine. I hope I'm saying it right. But the reason I want to share this with you is eventually, whenever you see something like this, you're going to cut this out, and you're just going to say 1. Or if I give you one like this, 2x minus 6, you're going to cut all that out, and you're just going to say 2 eventually. Okay? So if you are a beginner, like you said you were, just fill in those gaps, and eventually you'll start to see that this dwindles down to basically this coefficient if you have x to the first power and x to the 0 power. It's just going to dwindle down to that coefficient. This is going to dwindle down to this coefficient.
Okay, so whenever it doesn't have like an x on it, you just add an x to the 0?
Yes. And that's true with anything.
Doing that.
If I give you 3 or 4 things in algebra, 3x squared, x to the 5th, negative 2x to the 1st, or 5. Well, every one of them, this one has a 1 in front of it. And this one has a x to the what? X to the 0. This one has a x to the 1. Every term has a coefficient and a variable. Even a number by itself has a coefficient and a variable. And if you remember this, you'll unconfuse yourself when you're doing the derivatives. So this derivative would be 6x to the 2 minus 1. This one would be 5x to the 5 minus 1, which would be 5x to the 4th. This would be negative 2 times 1, x to the 1 minus 1, which is negative 2x to the 0, which is negative 2. And this is 0 times 5x to the 0 minus 1, and that goes to 0. So it kind of helps to fill in those spaces with what goes there, especially when you're learning how to do calculus. Anybody else? Hope that helps somebody else who never had calculus before. All right, let's look at your homework and pull one out of your homework just so I can, see what they got in the homework. So let's look at assignment manager. Let's go to my courses and go to 130. And let's go with assignments. And I think we're in 5.2. I haven't assigned them, so I might as well go ahead and do that. Assignment manager. And since everybody's quiet and we don't have a bunch of people talking, letting me know, I'll just go ahead and put a date on it. Let's go ahead and, oh, I'm gonna have to bring that over. Okay, let's see if I can do that right quick. Import, and let's go with convert. I don't think I have a new, is this a new book? Somebody tell me. I don't know if it's a new book or not. Yes, a new book. No, it's there. There we go. Spring, next. Let me pull in, what are we on, y'all? Are we on chapter, what chapter are we? Oh my God, just forget it. I'll look it up myself. Nobody knows what chapter we're on, right? Anybody?
What was your question?
Chapter 1.
Is it
Just
chapter
finished the
1?
chapter.
I don't think it's chapter 1 because is it chapter 1? I'm gonna take your word for it.
We just did the 1.1 to 1.4.
We just did the R unit. So this
Right,
is
we did the review unit, and then we did the 1.1 to 1.4 homework.
okay. Oh, well, I don't want 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3. I don't want that. I thought I might have not loaded the 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, 1.8. So let me load it. Why? Oh, I know why I don't see it now. I had it under quizzes and tests. There we go. All right, so have I already assigned? I don't think I have. Nope. I'm not going to assign this one, so I'll assign 1.5 and 1. Somebody look in your outline and tell me what 1.6 is. Is 1.6 a chain rule? Anybody got an outline with them? No, because you don't print them out like I tell you to.
Product and quotient rule.
1.5 says what?
I'm sorry, 1.5 is power and some difference rules.
All right, hold on. I'll just look it up. No offense, I just couldn't hear you. I'm sorry. 109 schedule, or I'm sorry. I don't know why it says 109. 130. All right, it says that we are supposed to be, can't see it. 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Okay, 1.4. Yeah. Power and some difference rule, product and quotient rule. So that means 1.5 and 1.6. Sorry about that. 1.6 assign. I've got to change those dates because they're not going to let you see it. So let me go ahead and change that too. And we'll go ahead and make 1. Let's see, where's the 1.4 that I gave y'all? That one's already due. So let me go down to 1.5, 1.6, and 1.5 and 1.6. 1.5 today is the 23rd. And we'll make it due Monday or Tuesday, because everybody seems to be understanding it. So 9:23. I can't remember what day it is. 9:23, 8 o'clock. And we'll end it Monday or Tuesday. Tuesday is what, 28th? Tuesday is 28th.
Yes, it is.
There we go. Okay, so you got those started. So let me go to it right quick. I know what time it is, so you just chill out. Let's see. Go to assignments. And I'm going to hit, let's go with 1.6, since that's the quotient rule and power rule. And I'm just going to pick one. And find one that doesn't, well, we can do that one, but okay, let's do that one. All right, h of z is equal to 7 or negative z squared plus 7 times z cubed minus 3z plus 2. And since it is multiplying together, we're going to use the product rule. Product rule says first times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. You could also do algebra first, but I probably wouldn't because I don't want to do all that multiplying, but you can do either one. Go ahead and take a minute. We got like 4 minutes left, so let me go. We'll do 2 minutes on this problem and then do 2 minutes taking the roll. So y'all don't get no emails saying that y'all gonna fail in life. I know y'all like my colors. That sounds like mine. Somebody who's got Sweet Home Alabama as theirs. That's pretty neat.
Oh, I just played it for a second.
Oh, you did? I get mine from ringtone. I meant from oh gosh, what's it called? The purple. I can't think of it now. You get ringtones from it. I can't remember what it's called. Hedge something. I can't find it right now. H. Well, if I could type. Zedge. That's it. Although I hadn't used it in a long time because I don't really change them like every week. All right, so here we go. H prime of z is equal to z squared plus 7. The derivative of z to the third is 3z squared minus 3 plus 0 plus x cubed minus 3z plus 2 times, what's the derivative of negative z to the second power? Negative 2z plus 0. And that is your derivatives of the second and the first term. And now we just do nothing but algebra. And I'm not going to have enough time to do that, so I'm going to leave that to y'all. And y'all can finish the problem. And I'll go ahead and give you the answer by showing you the homework problem. Wherever it went, there it is. And I'm going to pick C and put a 3 there, or E, or there we go. No, that's the right answer. No, that's the right answer. There it is. The answer is right there. So while I'm getting the roll pulled up, you can copy that answer down. That way you can check your work.